Okay, now I was saying when you are trading the liquidity direction bias, and let's assume that we have CHF pairs. Okay, we want to trade the CHF pairs. So what we'll do, we look on all CHF pairs and move to constant time frames. It may not be constant CHF pairs. It may also be NZ pairs. It may also GBP pairs. It also be Euro pairs. Okay. Now we all have these master pairs that move all these pairs. Like when we look at the CHF pairs, we have like let me say CAD CHF. We have like CAD CHF moves all CHF pairs all together. So whenever we see the master having an area of liquidity, now let's assume that we have this structure on CAD CHF. Okay. So whenever we see this structure, maybe now this CAD CHF is having a normal area of liquidity on a weekly time frame. Now, what we do is we have now to go and list all the CHF pairs and see if they have the same thing on a weekly time frame. So now we have to go and visit the CHF pair, like the GBP CHF, the Euro CHF, and so on. Now, in most of the times, we find that most of them will not be having a weekly area of liquidity, or maybe most of them will be having the weekly area of liquidity. Now, let's look at the situation when all of them have the weekly area of liquidity. Okay, so sometimes we can't follow the structure of these other CHF pairs. Rather, we have to wait for the master of these CHF pairs to perform its liquidation process or its confirmation, and then we decide on how to take, or decide if we are to take the other CHF pairs or not. Are you together? So whenever you are going to trade any CHF pair, then you have now to correct all the CHF pairs and try to reanalyze and see. Because now here we are going to follow the liquidity flow to higher time frames on all CHF pairs. Because now whenever one CHF pair is moving up, whenever CAD CHF is moving down, it means that the rest of the CHF pairs are going to be moving down. Okay, meaning that some of the CHF pairs won't be having a confirmation from the weekly time frame. Okay, some of the CHF pairs will be having it. So whenever you spot CAD CHF having an area of liquidity, it means that the rest of the CHF pairs will be having it, or will be dropping down, because now the master is targeting this weekly area of liquidity. Okay, it's targeting weekly area of liquidity, meaning that whenever we go to GBP CHF now, whenever to go to GBP CHF, we must also be looking at selling. We must also be looking at selling it in anyhow, because now the other CHF pairs are selling. Whenever you go to the Euro CHF and you saw that now on a weekly time frame, I'm having on a weekly time frame, I'm having an area of liquidity, or I'm having, let's assume now we are having CHF pair inside the weekly area of liquidity. Let's just assume that we are having inside the weekly area of liquidity. Now we know that CHF pair is in weekly area of liquidity. We need to confirm a shift point maybe. Okay, so we have now to go to all the CHF pairs and be looking at the same thing. You have now to locate, or you have now to look at the available areas of liquidity on all CHF pairs. Now, all the available areas of liquidity on CHF pairs should be in timing, should reach in the same time all of these pairs. Let's assume now this is a CAD CHF is having an area of liquidity like this, meaning that if we are to wait for price to come inside this weekly area of liquidity of CAD CHF, GBP CHF will also do the same thing, because they are going to be moving in the same way. So you can't be buying CHF pair, GBP CHF, or selling CAD CHF. Okay? Now, whenever we are having a structure on CAD CHF, it means we shall also be having the same structure on GBP CHF. Meaning we have now to also go and look on what AUD CHF is doing before deciding on selling GBP CHF. You have to go and see what CHF is doing, AUD CHF. Now you have to ask yourself, is AUD CHF having a nearest area of liquidity like I saw on a CAD CHF or GBP CHF? Yes, I have it. Now, that should be added on the list of those CHF pairs that are having areas of liquidity. Then you go and check CHF JPY. Okay. Now, whenever card CHF is selling, CHF JPY will be buying. Okay. So it means that if I'm going to buy CHF JPY, it means that I must look for a nearest area of liquidity that is going to hold the sales for this CHF JPY. Meaning, if you have this area of liquidity on card CHF on 4 hour, you'll be having this on CHF JPY. Are we together? So it means that whenever this CHF JPY is giving a pullback back to this weekly area, to this 4 hour area of liquidity, and let's assume that on the card CHF we had something like this shift and inside formation. Whenever this is doing, whenever CHF JPY is giving a pullback, it means that card CHF should also be giving a pullback to this weekly area because they must move in opposite direction. All together. So that's how we define the liquidity direction path, because now we have now to look at all areas of liquidity available on those pairs, all those CHF pairs. Because now sometimes you may have sometimes you may be having a structure on CHF JPY, structure like this, formed a shift point and no area of liquidity. Okay, so when you go now to GBP, this is card CHF, this is card, and this is GBP, and this is GBP. So on GBP, you may be having something like this: all price dropping, forming lower highs and lower lows, and price happens to perform less assume that shift is here with an area of liquidity here. So now you're going to be confused. Now, for this is having an area of liquidity, this one is it having an area of liquidity. And now that if this is having, this has no, or the master has no an area of liquidity. Okay, if the master has no an area of liquidity, meaning that we have low chances for card CHF to hold this area. I mean that there are high chances for it to continue dropping down because we don't have an area of liquidity from the situation 2 or situation 1 time frame, which is the 4 hour and the daily time frame. Okay, meaning that if you spot any area of liquidity on the situation after the shift point, mean that now this zone is likely not to hold. That's because now most of the CHF players have a shift but don't have an area of liquidity nearest. Mean that you won't be taking this as your entry. Okay, you won't be taking that as your entry because now the master isn't having, or most of them don't have an area of liquidity. All right, together, don't have an area of liquidity. Now, what is the purpose of this liquidity directional bias? It's going to help you to spot which pairs are going to hold, or what are you looking on all CHF pairs, because if all the CHF pairs are selling, they must sell. Okay, now this is going to guide you in the way that you're not going to be confused. Now, whenever you see a price having this, okay, and also the other CHF pair is having this, an area of liquidity, you're going to be confused. So if you're only trading one pair, which is the card CHF, you may be right. I'm not going to take an angle. But if you're trading only GBP CHF, you're going to go refine and find your limit order to that point and enter your limit order. You end up price coming to take you out. You end up having price to come and take you out. All right, together. So that's the purpose of this liquidity direction bias. It helps you to first do the confirmation on all CHF pairs before deciding on what to do. It takes time, and whenever you're analyzing, always give setups time, because now if you don't give setups time, you'll be like in the way of rushing, because some of the structures or some of the methodologies we use, like the liquidity flips, those liquidity flips are one of the most hardest structures to spot when analyzing. Mean that every setup should be given at least 15 to 20 minutes on analyzing. Analyze the setup like 2 to 4 times to see if you're getting the same thing before even deciding. Okay, but leaving around that, this is what you're going to be doing. Like when you're doing like when you are trading, like when you're trading NZ pairs, like when you're trading NZ pairs, like when you're trading NZ pairs. Now, you know that if I'm trading NZ pairs, Euro NZ, if Euro NZ is, if Euro NZ, if Euro NZ is selling, means that I should be buying NZ card. All together, I should be buying NZ card. Now, we all know that now Euro NZ is the master or is the pair that moves all these these NZ pairs. So whenever you spot an area of liquidity, from the Euro NZ, before considering the structure, go and check to see if all the NZ pairs have the similar area of liquidity around that area. Because if they are all to sell, they will not come from nowhere to sell. There should be a reason why these pairs are selling. So when you spot this Euro NZ, now go and check and see now on GBP NZ I don't have. Go check GBP NZ. You see GBP NZ I don't have, but AUD NZ I'm having. Yeah? But AUD NZ buying. So you go on NZ card, you confirm now on NZ I'm having. Okay, so whenever you do that, it will help you know where you which pairs are you going to focus on. You may even say now this week I'm not going to look at any of the card pairs and the OCHF pairs because what they are having, their structure isn't how can I say it? Isn't
Not ready or not almost.
yeah. So that's how I always do it. So whenever you're doing something like this, it will help you know which pairs are having a clear structure or which pairs don't have a clear structure. So you'll be able to, let me say now, this week, you're going to be focused on card pairs because the NZD pairs don't have a clear structure. The CHF pairs don't have a clear structure. Or the JPY pairs don't have a clear structure. Okay, like when you're trading JPY pairs, when you're trading JPY pairs, we can't take any confirmation given on AUD JPY, CAD JPY anyhow. No, we have now to first look at the master of all JPY pairs. Now, they think it's still confusing a lot, and many people are considering GBP JPY as the master of CHF pairs, of JPY pairs. But Euro JPY can also move JPY pairs, which is okay. Now we can use Euro JPY and GBP JPY as the confirmation pairs, okay, of those JPY pairs. Okay,
Yes.
let me check something here. Something I wrote. Now we have what we call. So now you said this is GBP JPY pair. Let me just list them here so that you can look. A GBP JPY, GBP JPY, Euro JPY, Euro JPY, and CHF JPY, and CHF JPY, CHF JPY. Now these pairs, they have the same structure. These pairs, they have the same structure. Meaning whenever you spot any area or whenever you see GDP points are reacting to its area of liquidity or triggering its area of liquidity, you can go on and place orders on these last two. Okay? Because they usually have the same structure. You go and check it by yourself. They have the same structure. So we also have deviating pairs. We also have deviating JPYs. Okay, deviating JPYs. Deviating JPYs. Okay. So what are these deviating JPYs? That is CAD JPY, CAD JPY, and USD JPY. These also have the same structure. And USD JPY, they all have the same structure. They deviate to each other. So whenever you spot an entry on USD JPY, you can go on and place an entry on CAD JPY and manage your risk accordingly. Okay. So we also have NZ JPY. So also have NZ JPY and AUD JPY. Now these pairs also have the same structure. Whenever you spot an entry on AUD JPY, you can go on and place an entry on NZ JPY because they have the same structure. They have the same structure. So let me show you an example here.
So Mary,
Yes.
so I can arrange them on my trading view accordingly.
Yeah, you can arrange them. Let me show you. Let me show you how I arranged mine. So here I arranged my JPY like JPY motherfuckers. Okay, and that's why I arranged it as the JPY DXY family. Now you see here I'll be teaching you how to arrange pairs. I know which pairs you're going to be trading. So for me, I have pairs waiting for agglomeration 3. I have pairs waiting for agglomeration. JPY motherfuckers, JPY waiting for agglomeration in daily for 4 hour. I have pairs waiting for entry, they are 7. I have pairs in constant area of liquidity waiting for agglomeration 1, 2, and 4. So I'll be teaching you how to do that. Can you see I even separated all the JPY pairs alone. Okay, I separated all the JPY pairs alone. So let's check at NZ JPY and AUD JPY.
So what is happening?
Yeah, that's okay, we are having 9 minutes. So
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify that just because many people didn't know it. Okay, many people didn't know it. So now this is how this is how NZJPY is looking. Now we have now to go and check how now to go and check how what's wrong with this AUD. How did it do? How did it do? Okay, let me just okay. Actually, this tabbed me.
You can just click it to bring it.
Okay. Observe the structure here on AUD JPY. You observe the structure on AUD JPY here. Bakubila Peter. Bakubila. Come on. So this is the structure we are having on AUD JPY. You see it, how it's currently moving on. Now, whenever you go down to I wanted to split this thing, but I don't know how. I wanted to split it. So that's the idea I wanted to share on this liquidity direction, but it's mainly for
You're not splitting, I was splitting. You're just extending a screen, yeah. What do you give a design?
Wali badezi kategede ne kanjire kasa mukitegede ndakiddamu olala nga tweyongerayo. I'll repeat it next time. I just wanted to clarify this. So you have now to follow what I was talking about. So whenever you go on NZ pairs, now like you saw here on Euro NZ had an area of liquidity, which at the GBP NZ didn't have. Okay. So on Euro NZ, we can clearly see on a daily time frame. You can clearly see on a daily time frame, price had this type 5 area of liquidity. Okay, so it was the only area that was supposed to hold the entry on Euro NZ. So let's go on GBP NZ and see. This
So you
facility,
also consider the structure so far away, long time ago.
yeah. Those are the actual structures that do hold. Now, do you see AUD NZ? AUD NZ didn't have an area of liquidity on a daily other than this type 1 area of liquidity.
Yes.
Now you can clearly see this is having a type 1 and Euro NZ is having a type 1. Okay? It doesn't matter if this type 1 is far away or close. So long as it's the nearest area, it's the an area of liquidity that price is currently in. Or so long as it's the area that is currently doing what? Present at that moment. Okay. Now this had a type 1 and Euro NZ is having a type 1, a type 5. Now, because they're all areas of liquidity, now this gives us a green light. It gives us a green light. Now I have only got 2 pairs which have an area of liquidity. Okay. Now you can go on and check on another NZ pair. Then you can come on and check how this, see, the other one was selling and this one was buying. So you can clearly see on this NZ card, we had a shift and the price was in an area of liquidity. Let me just remove this. And price was in an area of liquidity on a daily time frame. Now, all those pairs were in their daily areas of liquidity respectively. Okay, Euro NZ was in a type 5 area of liquidity. AUD NZ was in NZ card was in its area of liquidity after performing a shift point in a daily time frame. Meaning that whenever we are going to be looking for sales on Euro NZ, we are going to be looking for buys on NZ card. And it should also go to GBP NZ because they have the same structure with the Euro and Euro. So now, when you look here on Euro, on GBP AUD, we didn't
I was
have
trying to figure out why
any,
you saw that.
we didn't have any area of liquidity present. We didn't have any
Yes.
area of liquidity present. Meaning, which pair don't move these NZ pairs? That is Euro NZ. Meaning, whenever we have a confirmation on Euro NZ, we can definitely come and enter GBP NZ. We can go on and enter Euro NZ. We can go on and enter buys on NZ card. We can go on and enter any NZ pair. But after doing formal confirmations, if those pairs are having areas of liquidity. Now in our analysis, almost of them, we are having the nearest areas of liquidity. Most of them were in an area of liquidity. And even if you look on this NZ pair, I'm having this buy. Okay, I'm having this buy. You can clearly say,
Yes.
I wanted to, this was what my second buy that I was expecting, but I'm having this buy. You can clearly see now here. Here, price had this shift and also had this formation here, which this pair was in because we had to use liquidity consumption here because now this area wasn't fully consumed. So we had to apply liquidity consumption for price to come and consume this area 80 or 85 or 95%. So now this gives you a green light to what is going to happen on all NZ pairs. It's called the liquidity direction bias, more especially or mostly used on correlation concept and related whatever.
Yes, that's a good insight also.
Yeah, so this gives you more realistic image on what is going to happen on all NZ pairs. So what you're going to do is you're going to do this on all pairs that you're going to be doing. Okay? Even if you look on the CHF pairs, they're all doing the same thing. They are all doing the same thing. They were all selling. But what was the reason for their selling? That so now you're going to go on and check it by yourself to see what I was telling you. Now, you can again see here you had a shift point here. Okay, with the outside formation was this outside formation was a consumed, but you also have this formation. The reason why I'm still targeting this low is because I went on and checked on all CHF pairs. This was the only one, or maybe this was the only one having that area of liquidity. Meaning this one won't hold when others don't have an area of liquidity present.
Ah,
Are we together? So
yes.
let's check on GBP CHF. Even if you use GBP AUD or AUD pairs, AUD pairs, that's the same thing that you're going to be getting. So here, this euro, this GBP AUD sold, this sell. Let's go and check it on the daily time frame. It sold. So let's see how euro AUD or AUD card was moving. It also is also selling, or it's also sold from this area for now. So what was the reason for this thing? The reason for that sale was from euro AUD. I don't trade it. Euro AUD. So
No,
come
my
on
favorite also.
and check what's there
Yeah.
on euro AUD.
Oh, you go ba?